All right, this is going to be a surprise for both of us.
Yeah, I think I have to...
Well, no, actually, no. This is going to be a surprise for me.
That's what I was going to say. Usually in these things, I'm the one that knows nothing. But in this particular case, we're in this unique situation where I'm in the room with the two closest people to me in the city. I know everything you need to know about Croatia, so you can ask me anything you want.
Holy shit. All right. See you later, Lou.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more. Tell me more so I can smash you like a good Croat.
There are things we think we know about places, but history, prejudice, stereotypes, and the viral nature of 24-hour news and social media has made common knowledge about faraway places more twisted than ever.
Today, as always, on Misinfonation, we try to clear up some of the outright lies, myths, mistakes, and misnomers of an entire country by doing what we do best, by having a chat with someone who actually knows what they're talking about.
Today, we're off to Croatia, Hrvatska, a very special place with a very special guest.
Lucija Stovic is an award-winning filmmaker based here in Barcelona. Her candid and affecting documentary feature films La Chana and Pepi Fandango have garnered international praise on the circuit.
As a director, she mixes the past and the present, loss and pain, poetry and craft.
And her producer on these films and her creative partner at Noon Films is none other than my Bolivian brother and fearless co-host, Andres Bartos. Both of us will question Lou, and then you can be the sounding board.
I guess. I don't know how it's going to work. We're just going to have to go play it by ear.
Okay. And then, but if Dre gets something wrong, like what's the Croatian tradition? Do you have to?
Yeah, what do you get? Well, she'll probably make my life impossible.
You punch.
I mean, it depends on what you get wrong and how wrong you get it, obviously.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, there's a range.
Wow.
No, I'm intimidated.
Croatia, a land of incredible beauty, food, searing insults, and wild coastlands. Makes for tough, proud people.
Dubrovnik's stunning old town to wild, untouched national parks and pristine beaches, the country has become one of the tourist destinations of 2025.
But before we go any further, let's get to know Lou a little bit. Where are you from?
Ooh, Stojovic Valley. No, born in Zagreb, capital.
Give us a picture of Zagreb. I've never been to Croatia.
I was born in ex-Yugoslavia, so it wasn't even Croatia yet. Zagreb at the time?
Scary?
No, not scary. A little gray, maybe.
Okay.
But with a very cute little, like, Austro-Hungarian center.
Oh, this is a little Austro-cute Hungarian center right there. Oh, God, that's going to come back to us.
Now, you may not have a picture in your head of what typical Croat swagger is, but Lou does. So, what does she think we're going to ask her about today?
I mean, obviously the sports. They're like Modric, Šuker, Prosinečki. Number one, the only reason why anybody knows Croatia even exists is because of our sports people.
Prosinečki? Who's that?
Yeah, that's the older generation.
Okay, I was going to say I don't know.
World Cup in the 90s.
All right, that's one. You're one down.
One down.
No one down. The tie.
The tie?
The invention of the necktie.
The invention of the necktie. The cravat.
It's Croatian. I didn't know that.
Is that why it's
either.
called cravat?
Mm-hmm.
Get the fuck out.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Napoleonic Wars.
But you get that? Like people, is that why your dad was reading to me from the Wikipedia entry of the Napoleonic Wars? Now I understand.
Number one invention.
The cravat.
The war? Are we going to go there?
Ah, yeah, of course.
We can go there.
The war. That's a big one.
The Eurovision Song Contest. No.
How many times winners?
Have you ever won? Has Croatia ever won Eurovision?
A Croat won for Yugoslavia before it became Croatia, but we consider it a Croatian win. It was right before.
Maybe it's that, yeah.
Okay, sports, dressing well, and a complicated past. Let's get into it.
There's one thing we were talking about actually right before we came here, which is something I've noticed moving in the world with you, which is almost everywhere you go, people will come up to you and be like, either I am Croatian or I speak Croatian or something like that.
Yeah, there's more Croatians, I think, outside of Croatia than in Croatia.
Right.
And in Croatia, everyone's related.
Wow.
No, it's like you always, like anyone you talk to, you have a drink or something, I don't know. Within like the first hour, you realize that you know someone who they know.
I heard it's kind of like it's a staple thing to ask people what their parents' names are and their brothers and sisters' names because of that very reason.
Because then you can kind of put them...
It's not like Iceland where you have like apps or like, are you related to me? You don't have that.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. But then like your like grandfather or somebody does like a little testing of like, you know, heritage, and then you realize everyone's from the same valley and you're like, oh shit.
We need to get out of here.
Is there a lot of times you travel, especially like to the States or to the west, to the east, whatever, like that people don't know where Croatia is?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Is there like is it kind of a iconic cultural wilderness?
I mean, I remember during, like, especially when Croatia became Croatia and there was the war going on and stuff. And then somebody once asked me, oh, you're from Croatia. How come you're not black?
This person was, I'm going to guess, from the United States of America.
North American.
Hey, dude, we're trying to get sponsorship. What the fuck?
Just a guess. Just a guess.
And it was just because there was like two conflicts happening. It was Rwanda and like the Balkans happening around the same time.
Oh. My God!
And they just come, just
put you in as Rwanda.
And I was like, how do I answer that? I mean, we were talking face to face. It wasn't even on the phone.
So the mystery of Croatia is still a little confusing, even for the Balkan region itself. Yeah, we were just watching today as well. Slavoj Žižek, you know this guy?
Mm-hmm.
He's Slovenian.
He's Slovenian.
Talking about the Balkans, and he has a map behind him, and he's like, so if you're coming from the Austrian side, it's Slovenia, for example. Anything after Slovenia is Balkan.
Right.
If you ask a Slovenian where did the Balkans start, they'll be like, oh, from the Croatian border downwards. If you ask a Croat, they're like, oh, no, from the Serbian border down. And then you get down to Greece and they're like, no, we're not Balkan. We're like the start of civilization. It's like, it's actually like, you know, the people who are above us. No, it starts from like not Macedonia. Because
North Macedonia?
North Macedonia upwards. And then you go to Austria, and they're like, oh, no, from the Slovenian border downwards.
What is it? Why is everyone anti? Like, no one wants to claim it.
And then you go to the UK, and they're like, no, Brexit. Yeah. All of the rest of Europe. That's all the Balkans with Brussels as the center of the Balkans.
So it kind of has like a bad association?
Has a connotation to it.
What is it? Is it alcoholism? Is it...
a little barbarian.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess a little you
tough,
know,
rough,
unrelenting.
Or like, you know, that's a perfect example. Like what Žižek is doing there is like, you know, saying it's nobody wants to be it.
Right.
Yeah. So situated on the Adriatic Sea and bordered by Slovenia, Hungary, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, and Montenegro, Croatia is cornered with its back to the deep blue by a lot of cultures, troubles, and influences.
So all of these are considered Balkan. But what does that actually mean? Your children, half Croatian, half American, born in Catalonia. If I ask them, where are you from? They're going to say, I'm from Croatia.
Absolutely.
But what is that? So because it's like a very particular...
I think it's on the list.
Is it?
I think it's like... Okay.
But is it a pride? What is it? Is it a pride? Is it a feeling of like you want to maintain that? How would you...
I mean, I think there's a sense of survival. It's one of those regions, I mean, like, I think strategically speaking, it's one of those regions that has always been like on these crossroads of like north, south, east, west.
Everybody trying to
take over constantly. And, you know, Croatia itself, it's like full of people who are constantly in conflict with each other. And the only time they're not in conflict is when somebody else is in conflict with them.
They're like, hey, we're not so bad. So the complicated nature of being Balkan aside, the Croatian seems to have an unwavering sense of self. Extremely proud. Croatians love to brag about their country, especially when it comes to football, tourism, history, and famous Croats.
Oh, we're the best and the worst at the same time. Like, you kind of shit on yourselves non-stop, but then on the outside, you're kind of like, but you were the best. Nobody like this arrogance. It's like, it's terrible.
Because it's funny, 4 million people. I didn't realize it
3.5 now. I think 500,000 went to Ireland.
With all those Brazilians.
With the Brazilians and the Croats.
You can listen to the Ireland episode to get that joke.
National pride in Europe can lead to some difficult times in terms of politics, but it more often than not usually manifests itself safely in the beautiful game.
The Croatian national football team is a source of this immense national pride. And with a world-beating and almost World Cup winning team built from a country of just 4 million people, or 3.5 million now, depending on how you count it, it's easy to see why.
But within the country, for club games, things are a little different. Everyone's a huge football fan, but there are only 2 teams to really support.
Dinamo Zagreb
and Hajduk. Hajduk split, and they like hate each other. Like,
what's the makeup? Is it violent? Is it a weird rivalry? Is it fun? Is it?
I'll give you an example. Like where we have the summer house on the coast. I don't remember which team it was though, but there was somebody who got into a fight. They were like fans going. I think they were Hajduk, and the people who were at the bar were from Dinamo. And then at some point they decided to throw the entire bus into the sea.
The bus.
They picked
pushed
the bus up.
the bus into the sea.
Wow.
I mean, that's playful.
And there was nobody on the bus at that moment, but it was like an act of love.
Sweet so Croatians. Let's put a bus in the sea.
Heart emojis going on the live Instagram.
When Croatia plays like on a national level, then I'm for Croatia, but I don't really care if Dinamo or Hajduk win. You're speaking with the
Vin.
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 Who David?
So, but your dad is Dinamo.
He doesn't again.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't watch those club games so much, but like everybody in Croatia also watches all the like European club games because a lot of Croatians are in those teams.
Yeah.
So, for example, Modric is in Real Madrid. Mm-hmm. So
Everybody's
I care more
that.
about Real Madrid than I do about, or like, when some Croat is in Barcelona, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm 100% for Barcelona now because there's a Croatian on. And the only reason like Barcelona's winning is obviously because the Croat is on the team.
But of course, we have to take a little look at the very recent backstory of this tiny nation who could.
After World War II, the former Yugoslavia was stitched together under the leadership of Josip Broz Tito, a charismatic communist leader who somehow managed to keep a federation of very different republics, including Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Slovenia, Montenegro, and Macedonia, mostly united.
Tito was known for his one-party rule, his brutal secret police, tightly controlled censorship, and walking a fine line between East and West during the Cold War. He refused to fully align with the Soviet Union or the West, but under his rule, Yugoslavia had relative peace.
And despite massive foreign debt and inflation, Tito was also somehow the glue holding everything together. When he died in 1980, everything started to come apart.
By the early 1990s, there was a full-on collapse. With Tito gone and once suppressed nationalism on the rise, long-simmering ethnic and political tensions exploded.
Slovenia and Croatia were the first to declare independence, Croatia in 1991. But this sparked violent conflicts, where a war with Serb forces lasted until 1995.
The breakup of Yugoslavia was messy and tragic. leading to multiple wars, ethnic cleansing, and deep scars that are still felt today.
Though Croatia eventually emerged as an independent nation, and while it's now a thriving member of the EU, the road there was anything but easy.
I remember the conflict very well because it was building up. And then there was the Declaration of Independence. And then I remember as countries started to recognize Croatia as a country. And I think the first was the Vatican.
That's praise from up high. Was that 83, 84?
90, 91.
Okay, right.
And then things started to brew. The situation was really terrible. It was what's going to happen next? There were Croatia, Yugoslavia had one of the biggest armies in the world. There were people doing their military service all over the country. They didn't know whether they were going to be drafted into the army or whether they're going to be allowed to leave.
Or they were going to be fighting on the wrong side.
Or fighting on the wrong side. Parents were freaking out and going to the barracks and trying to get their children out.
Wow.
And then the tanks started rolling.
You remember this?
I totally remember this because we were in Zagreb. At that moment, and a kilometer away from our house, the tanks were rolling and going towards Slovenia, and people were trying to stop them on the street. They were throwing cans and things and bottles at the tanks and trying to stop them. There was that news that, there were barricades. Serbs were putting up barricades in Croatia and not allowing people to pass through. And then the first victim happened. The first 2 policemen got killed. And then all hell broke loose.
So, because you guys left before the war broke out?
Mm-hmm. Because my dad had pissed off the government. I needed to get out of there.
Let's not ask.
I don't know if we should.
I mean, my lifetime in ex-Yugoslavia was the end of an era.
Yeah.
Right.
So it wasn't the same as what my parents lived through. It was a very different moment in history, and then things are starting to brew already in terms of change.
Did you ever come back and live in Croatia as a fully formed person?
I'm still not fully.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's close.
We learn something every day. No, never.
You went to Scotland, right?
No, I was living in Vienna from 7 to 18. I lived in Italy for a year and a half. Then I lived in Edinburgh for 4 years and Prague for 2 years. And then Vienna again, and then I came here.
Man,
it's a lot of moving around.
But every year of all those years, always going back to Croatia?
Always. Summer, and when we were living in Vienna, it was also every Christmas, every Easter, for weekends sometimes. Because it's not so far away. And half of Vienna is full of the ex-Yugos. You don't even feel like you left. I mean, there's...
Sure.
You do, but even with my kids now, it's here in Barcelona, we have our secret language. We speak Croatian. Nobody understands us. There's 0 Croatians. You go back to Vienna and I'm be careful what you say.
Then a memory that Andres has about Lou in regards to Catalonia's own independence troubles pops into his head.
When the independence troubles were happening in Catalonia, I actually did a series of interviews with people from the Balkans. One of them was actually Lucija. So one of the things that I remember from that chat we had was that you were a little pioneer.
I was a little pioneer. I was the last of the pioneers.
Last generation of little pioneers.
I think I was the last or the second to last. But there was a thing called Titoland.
Can you explain?
I have such vague memories of it, but we had to go to this place, which... they put you in this big hall and played from some kind of record player. They played communist Titos songs.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
And then you had to watch a film about the liberation of Yugoslavia. That's the only thing I know from first grade. I don't think I learned anything else except Tito songs.
Holy shit.
But I had that kind of teacher. It was who you had. And I had one of these super communist ladies. And then we had to go to this Titoland place, all the first graders of all of the region, and swear to Tito that we're going to follow his path. All dressed in little white shirts and
embroidered.
No, a red scarf and a
scarf.
dark blue skirt. I still remember that.
Little Titos pioneers.
And then they took pictures of us, and I got in trouble because I hid behind the teacher as they were taking the picture.
Yeah.
So I have no
No record.
No record.
Your dad was like, you hide. You gotta get the fuck out of here.
More like my grandmother.
Jesus. We're the same age, right?
1980.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck. That's
And like that was the other crazy thing.
Not that long ago.
Every time we like entered the class, we had to get up, or like every time the teacher entered the class, we had to get up and say, "Long live Comrade Tito."
As little people.
As 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds. And Tito died in 1980, the year we were born.
How do you say long live Tito?
Really? We're gonna do this? Okay.
I want to hear how that sounds.
Živio drug Tito.
Živio
Živio drug.
And then she would answer, Živio.
Živio.
Which means like he lives, and it's like he's dead. It was so bizarre.
And then the bell rings and you go eat your packed lunch.
So with the war in our rear view mirror, we get on to the stunning islands, beaches, and national parks that the country is known for.
Croatia's tourism sector has grown 4% year on year since 2021. And with 22 million people visiting last year, this year it looks like it will break all records after hitting the top spot to travel to in some of the world's biggest publications, including Forbes and Lonely Planet.
I mean, it always had tourism. I think people think that it didn't because it wasn't associated as being Croatia.
Yeah.
Like, it's become very popular in the last years.
Yeah.
Also, thanks to, like, I don't know, Game of Thrones and, like, Mamma Mia and things like that.
Mamma Mia is also Croatian?
Yeah.
It was filmed on Vis, on the island of Vis. Mamma Mia 2, I think, was filmed in Croatia.
But yeah, 12,000 islands. So the sailing thing is like crazy.
Oh, it's the best way. Like, personally, I think it's the best way to see Croatia. Now it's a little expensive.
Yeah.
But you need to know who you need to know. That's the way it works in Croatia.
Right, you hook me up. You hook me up.
I hook you up.
I mean, yeah,
Out of season.
You had some amazing summers. You would organize like sailing trips, right?
Yep. I used, like, for friends. This wasn't anything like, official. It was just like with friends. But like I also did like sailing courses and like have a lot of friends who are skippers in the summer.
I mean, that was my, like, every time we do one of these, I'm always trying to think about like what even before doing this. And they're the only two stereotypes that I have in my head. I mean, I didn't know any of this.
There is something about that.
I just imagined them all as skippers.
Not necessarily, but at the same time, there is definitely like a connection to the sea. There's this thing too, which I guess maybe comes from the socialist era, that property stays within the family. One thing that you can say about socialism is that people could, like my grandparents were all teachers, but They could afford to build like a house by the sea, which nowadays is like impossible. But that stays often in the family. So like almost everybody has like a place to go to. So like there's this massive connection to like, being able to go to the sea or being able to go, to a second house somewhere and spending your entire summers there.
If something happened right now, Barcelona was in grave danger, could we run to the port, steal a boat, and you could get us to Mallorca?
Sure, it's all straight line. No islands in between.
Perfect. Full zombie mode.
So clearly, this island hopping paradise dotted with thousands of islands must produce some really calm, tranquil, positive people, right?
Croatians complain all the time, but secretly love it.
Totally true. Totally true. They're bitching nonstop. They're bitching but it's what you were talking about before. It's like that thing about bitching, but also being super proud.
Yeah.
And like being super self-critical and being very proud. So like even like going back to the soccer, you're watching a game with a bunch of Croats, you're winning and like, we're geniuses. And they're losing. It's like, oh, motherfucking shit, why are we losing? Look at those idiots. What idiots? What kind of a mother could have given birth to such an idiot? It goes like, and the grandmother she must have been like the whore of I don't know who. So,
Totally. There was a World Cup game we watched with your dad where at some point he's like, oh no, they brought this asshole on I think it was Perisic. It's like the coach, it's in World Cup. Bring him on, this motherfucker, this bullshit. And then within 5 minutes the guy scores. He's like, Perisic is a genius.
Is it?
It's amazing. Perfectly. They brought the right guy on. I told you. They brought the right guy on.
No, it's the worst combination of like self-doubt and arrogance.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Wonderful.
It's gonna hear if it's a quote. Well,
I'm gonna lose my Croatian citizenship.
No, it's being condensed. It just says if a Croatian isn't complaining about something, check that they're okay.
Is it a sense of, because it's a small place, it's a sense of insecurity?
Maybe, yeah. You're like when you're always kind of swallowed up by somebody else, you have a little bit of a lack of self-worth.
There's a little, it must be a little inferior. I always think about, in an Australian kind of context, I always think Tasmanians are very, like...
Are they complaining?
When Sydney had the Olympic Games, there was like the stylized like outline of Australia. They left Tasmania off.
Tasmania.
And it was just this hilarious thing where they were like, fucking typical, mate. Yep. Right. Great. So these fiery, windswept, hot-headed people with the worst mix of arrogance and self-doubt, turns out they're pretty spectacular insulters. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been reading articles about how amazing Croatians are at insulting people.
Curse words. You have a curse word for every situation. It's not like you have like a favorite curse word. It's a form of expression.
All right.
It all depends on like how you're feeling and how creative you get. If I say pička ti materina and I'm angry, I have to be angry with you.
Okay, let's go.
Pička ti materina.
Fuck your mother.
No, it means in your mother's pussy. But like
Sorry. All right, so sweary speed round?
Right on. What if we give you a series of situations that would cause for you to be angry and you give us an appropriate like response?
What would happen? So you hammer your finger. What comes out?
Jeboti pas mater. I don't know. I mean, may a dog fuck your mother.
You overdo it the night before and you wake up and you're completely hungover and in pain.
You don't talk.
You accidentally run over an old lady in the street.
That would just be like, oh yeah, bote.
Oh yeah, bote.
That's just like an oh fuck.
That's funny.
Like swearing is so much parts of like, you know, how you express yourself. That at some point when I was like a teenager and we were all swearing nonstop, my mother was like, enough of this. I'm going to start like a swearing jar. So every time like we swore, we had to put 10 shillings into the jar. And then my dad came and he was like, what is this bullshit? And he took out 100 shillings and put them in the jar. And he's like...
This will get me through today.
He was like, I'm just gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy Greenland, basically.
I'm fine till Sunday. Jebem? Ti sveve?
Ti sve po spisku?
You guys are terrible.
Yeah.
What is this?
I fuck everything on your list. I fuck everything on your list.
That sounds like Dalmatian or something. Because there's also the regional swearing.
I just like how it's I fuck everything on your list.
I love it.
I'm imagining it's like a to-do list.
Exactly.
Every little thing
you've got, I fuck all of it. Yeah, I like that one.
Sorry we butchered it. Give us a clean one.
Jebem ti sve po spisku.
It's beautiful.
Mrš piško?
Mrš pičko.
Yeah. Mrš piško. She's made her laugh.
It's gone red.
I'm just fuck off pussy? Is that what I'm saying?
Kind of. I mean, that's the thing. It's like there's so much variety. It's not like you have like, it's like you can mix anything up.
Right.
And like you can make anything up. You can be like, you know, may a bear fuck your mother. You know, may a squirrel nibble on your balls. I don't know. It's all about how you're feeling at that moment.
May a squirrel nibble on your balls. Andreas is going to read this bonus rage combo.
Okay, so this is Jebem ti materu usta, puši kurač i jedi govna, pičko. So if I get this, I f your mother in the mouth, suck a dick, and eat pussy. Is that what I said?
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
You charmer. Oof. Potty mouth.
That was it. Well, good luck using some of those on your next trip.
There are some qualities that are often instilled in people who come from nations of islands and coast, which the Croatians are synonymous with, such as time being pretty fluid. Always late, especially in Dalmatia. It's the number 6 on the list.
Are Croatians always late?
You really need to know how to work the waiters.
Okay.
Like if you're in Dalmatia.
If you're in Dalmatia, like for example, if you try to hurry a waiter, they're gonna be even slower on purpose.
Okay. That's
But
okay.
if you establish a level of respect, they're gonna end up giving you like stuff for free.
So how do we get free stuff when we go to Croatia from that?
The Dalmatians. Yeah, you have to establish a level of respect, she said. It sounded very complex.
Hey, what about like take your time, it's fine whenever you can. Stuff like that.
Yeah, kind of make a little joke, but you need to figure the person out a little bit.
All right.
You need to read the Dalmatian.
You have to read the Dalmatian, not get pissed off, even if like your stuff is super late. Because you just have to like deal with the fact that you're gonna be there for a while.
Sure. Everyone takes their time a little in Croatia, but when it does come time to eat or party, everyone is invited. That's just Croatian hospitality.
Till it isn't.
But there is one thing. The most upset I think I've ever seen you was on a shoot where names will go unmentioned. For whatever reason, the person that was hosting us where we were shooting, they went off to have dinner and just kind of abandoned us and didn't include us in the dinner.
Oh.
Yes.
You do not do that. Absolutely not.
Lucija was talking about it for days.
You just don't do that.
Her family started talking about it too. It's like you just literally everybody like.
No, my
what?
mom's like, what a bitch. She's still talking about it. That's like the lowest of the low. You don't do that. And this was supposedly some like high class family. And you're just like, oh, you know? But then like there's a certain satisfaction of like how badly they behave.
Yeah, there was some enjoyment. There was an enjoyment in like, oh, it's such a horrible person. I can hate them so much.
People for bastards.
I get to hate you so well. So I guess this counts as the exception that proves the rule?
Something like that.
We wonder if this kindness is something that can be said for all of the Balkans. I don't know if this will come up, but there is something that I do also find very fascinating, which is this kind of love animosity between the Balkan countries. Like your very specific semi-racism to each other. About every single country has their own version.
So careful right now. It's really good.
I know, I'm just being
little
careful.
tight.
Just tell me what you want to say. Come on.
The thing that I find interesting is that there is this curious animosity, but then outside, at least, there is a love or a family thing.
Like an affinity.
Yeah, for sure. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you'd be happy to see like a Bosnian or a Serb somewhere like when you're in Ireland.
Yeah. Look how far.
And then you're like,
look how far
oh.
we've come.
Hey, brother, hey, sister. And you're like, yeah, brother, sister, my ass.
So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with so much food, how to catch an octopus, killer sea foam, and more. But to take us to the break, a typical Croatian joke from Lou.
There's the one where Muja's riding a bicycle and the policeman stops him and he's like, oh, you don't have like a light, 50 dinars. And then he's like, oh, your brakes don't work, 100 dinars. Ah, you know, your chain's falling off, another 150 dinars. And then Muja starts laughing. And the policeman's like, what's so funny, Muja? And he's like, ha ha, how much is my friend Hasta gonna have to pay? He doesn't even have a bike.
Exactly. Perfect. Perfect. Finally, some rakia, a beautiful, fresh fish cooking on the fire, some light, delicious white wine with the salty air blowing onto the beach.
It's time for a quick food round. Or not.
Oh, you can't do quick foods.
See?
We do slow food.
I was going to say, you got to start before we start this off. You guys take it.
Can I do this slow speed round?
Yes. Pastichada?
Pastizada. Yes, I know pastizada.
What's pastizada?
Boiled meat. It's kind of tender, boiled for a long time.
Cow?
Cow.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. And like in a sauce that's like mixed with, I guess, like root vegetables.
Okay, stewy. Like stewy vibes.
Stewy, but delicious.
Okay.
A bourguignon with more attitude.
Ooh.
Vitalak.
Where do you get these from? That sounds like Czech.
Yeah?
No, we just call it janjetina.
Janjatina?
Janjetina, like you mean like lamb on a spit?
Yeah.
Janjetina. You don't, what is that? That's like some fancy word for it. But lamb is a whole big thing.
Yeah.
You have like a wedding or something, you get like, you know, catering and all that. But then the real deal starts when all the catering finishes and then the peasant comes with the lamb that they slaughtered for the wedding. That's when the good stuff starts. So if you're smart, you eat a little bit from the catered stuff. You wait until midnight, eat the lamb, and then you wait until the goulash at 5 a.m.
Oh. Strukli?
Strukli, yeah.
What's strukli?
You can have them boiled or baked. So it's kind of like pastry, pocket pastry with like fresh cheese inside. And then like a sour cream on top that you then, you either boil them and then you put the sour cream on top, or you like bake them with the sour cream on top. And it's really good. Heavy, delicious, and, you know, wholesome.
Big cheese people.
Pig, cheese, well, you tell the animals. We don't discriminate.
That's such an evil laugh. That was amazing. Bruschetta?
Fish stew, really good, delicious.
Or brodet.
Brodet or brudet. You can say, like, there's like a lot of differences in pronunciation depending on where you are. Even like, take this.
Hit me.
Sometimes in the same village, on an island, you will have two different pronunciations, whether you're on one side of the village or the other side of the village.
Oh my God.
I shit you not.
Jesus Christ. Family Feud?
I mean, sometimes Family Feud, sometimes it's just like an island is an island.
You never go to the other side of the island?
You never, I mean, I have, like, my grandfather was from the island of Cerca, and there were family members who lived in the center of the island who never saw the sea.
What? Tell me about the vowel deficit in Croatia. When did you guys run out of vowels?
I honestly don't know, but it screws me over because I can't say my R's, and the R is considered like a vowel sometimes.
Oh, that's how you get around it. Because Krk is literally KRK?
KRK, smrt, death.
Smrt.
Death.
Death? Mm-hmm. Is that a place or a word?
No, it's a word.
Okay.
I mean, technically it's both.
That's where we're all headed.
Wow, dark.
This last section brought to you by Casper Mattress.
Dark in the food section.
Ooh, fish paprikash.
That's more like Slavonia and the like upper region, like close to the Hungarian border.
Paprikash, because that's a word
And
I know.
you'd go with like, you know, the river fish more than the sea fish.
Okay. And it's spicy?
Super
kind
spicy.
of thing? Or?
Not so much my region. So like, you know, the whole like when we're from the sea, they make paprikash, we make brodet kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, right. A dividing
No, but delicious. Like it's good stuff. Like people know how to cook, and like in Slavonia too, there's even like songs about like there's actually a Serb that wrote a song about going to Slavonia and eating. You know,
Sing it.
I can't.
Sing.
I can't. I don't sing. Not going there.
Salt, cheese, honey.
What's the question?
Pashkish siri and
No, you don't need honey with it.
No?
No.
It's the cheese that's from the island of Pag, which is right in front of where we have the summer house. So it's like an island that looks like the moon because of the Bura wind. So you have this really strong wind that blows, and like there's nothing that can grow on that side of the island because of this strong wind. So like what it does is it lifts this foam up, and the foam has salt in it. So it puts like salt on the herbs, like on all the herbs there, and then like the sheep eat it, and the cheese comes out Salty.
So it's not their salt. They're not salting the cheese.
No.
The sheep are salting the cheese themselves by eating salty herbs.
Exactly.
Wow. Oh, I bet they look delicious.
So then Lou takes us on a little tangent with the phenomenon of the Bura wind.
The Bura wind basically happens because there's like a difference in altitude. And like there's a mountain that's almost about like 1,000 meters and then like sea level. So like when there's a big difference in temperature, so when it's raining on the other side and there's like often
Other side of the mountain,
this wind happens, which can be like hurricane strength winds, super strong and quite dangerous. And what it does is it doesn't lift up a huge waves. What it lifts up is like, and what's dangerous is if you're out on sea, there's like a fine sea foam that gets like lifted, which can suffocate you if you breathe it in.
What are you talking about? That's crazy.
It's like a foam party.
That's what I was saying. I'm imagining like in Ibiza when they have a foam party, except you're... That's when you include the Ibiza.
In a nightclub.
Funnily enough, like on the island of Pag on that side, they have like one of the biggest party zones of all of Europe.
That's where it was invented. The necktie wireless technology and foam parties.
Zirce, another one without a vowel.
Zirce.
There's this like, it's legendary by now that the Czech tourists like get themselves killed in Croatia. Basically.
Is it like English people balcony jumping?
Basically,
okay.
It's like that in Mallorca. But it's not like, it's basically because they think they can do anything they want and they don't listen to the locals. So there's even like official warnings from the Croatian state to the Czech state of like, warn your people not to come to Croatia and go out in a floating device in the middle of the Bura. Because every year these people have to go saving them. And it's always Czechs. So it became like also like the joke thing. Anytime somebody gets saved, you're like, were they Czech? Yes, they were Czech.
You better check yourself before you wreck yourself in this situation.
That kind of
and
thing.
they're all drowning in foam, these Czech people?
No. I mean,
just like rafts and rafts of just Czechs. Just inhaling sea foam.
Exactly.
they also climb mountains in flip-flops. That kind of
The racism. I was expecting more like Serbian racism. I wasn't expecting the Czech racism.
It's not racism. It's
true.
statistics. Go look at it.
It's like German socks and sandals.
Wow. So
it's low level.
It's like the highest, like the nationality with the highest death rate in Croatia every summer, I think.
Is that for real? I just have to do one more food thing that's not on your list, but it's highly important.
Okay.
Sarma.
That brings me to Mišo Kovač. Do you know who Mišo Kovač is?
Who's Mišo Kovač?
He's on the questionnaire for having Croatian citizenship.
So, and why are you talking about Mišo Kovač?
Because he has those kinds of songs, like there's like, I don't know if that's his song or somebody similar to him, where the lyrics are, "You left me without trying my sarma." And that's like, knife in the heart.
So this is the core. I feel like we've reached the core of what it means to be Croatian. So sarma is what exactly?
No, well, sarma is basically like sour cabbage leaves, and inside you have
sounds sexy as fuck.
Like pickled cabbage.
Pickled cabbage, soured, like pickled, but like salty, quite salty, and inside like a mincemeat with rice. Ooh. And then you eat it with boiled potatoes. Best hangover food on the planet. So you have rakia, and then the next day you have sarma, and then the cycle starts.
But you sing love ballads about this thing.
Well, somebody sang a love ballad about this.
All right.
But it became highly popular.
It's an unofficial national anthem.
Sarma goes a long way. And then it's also one of those things that like...
Just like, hold on to your heart. Exactly.
And it's one of those things that women like kind of bicker around, like, oh, her sarma is more like this, and her sarma is more like that, and my sarma is made with only like pure beef, and hers is like mixed with pork.
Holy shit!
It is gender identified.
Her sarma, I pretended it was good, but.
Meanwhile, everybody's like, this fucking rakia is amazing.
So, on to the all-powerful homemade cure-all that is rakia.
Oof. Ouch. It reminds me of my teenage years. No, my grandfather made homemade rakia. Almost everybody's grandfather made homemade rakia.
What is it?
Like a brandy, usually plum brandy, but you can also make rakia from other things. But like often it's slivovica. It's really high alcohol levels, and like nobody checks what you're doing.
No, it's like
And then
brandy.
anytime you go to someone's house, they're like, "Ooh, let's start with a rakia," or "Would you like a rakia?" And then you have a rakia, and everybody has to go, "Oh, that's an amazing rakia," even if it's not an amazing rakia.
The best support of you guys are of each other.
But then would you go home and then be like, "Oh, that rakia was bullshit"?
In the car.
In the
soon
car.
as you get in the car, I was like,
Sometimes, but it's also one of those things that treats everything. Like I remember as a kid, like they'd be like, "Oh, I have digestion problems, have a rakia," or like
I have cataracts.
Or I remember like being chased as a kid, like when you scrape your knee and stuff.
Yeah.
There was no disinfectant, so it was like rakia that they would disinfect your wounds with.
Yeah.
I still have the smell in my nose.
Wow.
Of like plum brandy being like put on my like scraped knees.
It's rough stuff.
And now finally, the big one. The traditional Croatian beka, which is an amazing slow-cooked celebration dish filled with tender meat or fish or octopus and vegetables.
Peka is basically that they do it a lot on the islands. It's like you can do it with lamb or you can do it with octopus or like.
Oh, this is the fire cooked.
It's like a
that you have to
ceramic
order in
thing
advance.
that you have to order in advance.
Yeah. Oh.
What's
and
this?
you put it like it's like a ceramic bell basically.
Okay.
And you put like hot ashes over it and like the stuff inside and it slow cooks for like hours.
Ooh.
And it's amazing. Do you know how to catch an octopus?
No.
I've never.
With fairy liquid, supposedly, according to my cousin.
Oh my, this is some
Very
Croatian.
liquid?
This is some Croatian shit right here. What are you talking about? With fairy liquid, what do you do?
And he just goes like diving without anything, goes shoop, and like puts a little fairy liquid, and an octopus comes and he goes shoop.
No.
That's why all the fucking sea foam is coming from. It's you're killing Czechoslovakian people.
There you go.
So there you go. Impossible to do food quickly with a Croatian, but we do now know that the secret to catching an octopus is a tiny squirt of fairy liquid.
So, the fine art of self-doubt and arrogance, loving everything Balkan if you're outside of the Balkans, warm food, warmer hospitality, a killer football team. Croatia, it's filled with incredible beauty and people.
But does Lou feel the same? When you're running through the world, when you're traveling through the world, which you guys do together, I'm going to have to ask you both. When you tell people where you're from, is it a neutral, unknowing, negative or positive response?
Yeah, I don't know if people know enough about Croatia to be able to have a stereotype. But that's what I mean. Like, it depends where you are. If it's like in Austria or Germany or somewhere there's a lot of Croatian immigrants, there's one thing. Or like where you're associated with being labeled as, or seen politically from one way or another way, or religiously from one way or another way, you'll get labeled and seen as in a positive or negative light. But I don't know how often you really, I don't know. Do you get that with other nationalities so much?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain nationalities that people are just positive about.
Like what?
Brazil.
Australia.
Samba. Like you're probably...
If I'm going anywhere and I was not even born in Australia, I just grew up there. But if I'm in certain places, I will just go, yeah, I'm Australian. And everyone's like, wow.
I don't know. I mean, there's people who are like, oh, Croatia, it's beautiful. I've been there, it's gorgeous, and this and that, or we had a great experience there. And then you have people who, I don't know, will be like, oh, yet another Croatian if you're in Austria, because you have so many there.
But I guess it's
here,
happening
there,
more
and then there's
worldwide,
people where there's like, I have no idea where the fuck that is.
Yeah.
Are you guys African?
Exactly. It's like they look at you blankly like, Croatia, what?
Are you proud to be Croatian?
Most of the time. I mean, I can't say always. I can't say I'm proud of like all the things Croatia has done. There's things I don't agree with, absolutely not. And then there's things that I am obviously proud of, and I'm proud that it has survived as a country. You know, like my roots go back centuries. I love going back there. I love that I have a country, because I could have also not had a country.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's the clincher.
That's the other side.
Is where you can just go, well, it
Could have gone another
exactly.
way. There's this sense of roots, this like long story that doesn't stop.
Yeah, I mean, I really think there is, and it's definitely a country of, you know, of a long history of immigration, of a long history of people leaving, and often when they leave, they often, you know, it's like that longing to come back. But you have that with like the Irish that go to the US and have a strong community
Absolutely.
there. You have that with like a lot of different, there's like, you know, the Italians that go to the US, but are still very connected to the old country. And sometimes like that weird sense of nationalism gets even stronger when you're further away.
Right.
Like I've seen like super nationalist Croats in Canada where I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is it's like, this is fucked up.
That's going to be your kids in Barcelona. But they were always going to go back though, you know, even because your family could afford to build a house by themselves in a place where you couldn't do it anymore. And that's really nice.
So then the only thing we have to do is a vowel exchange program or something for you guys, so you can get a few more vowels.
Maybe
we definitely need more vowels.
Yeah, you and the Welsh should like hook up and like try and fix some shit. Huge thanks to Lucija for sharing her country with us. It's definitely the top of my list to visit this year, as it should be on yours. This is so nice. This is the longest we've ever spoken in 8 years.
Really?
I think so.
Well, to be continued.
Jibili.
Jibili.
Thank you so much.
That's fantastic.
And thank you, Croatian
Whisperer.
Croatian
Whisperer. Myself and the Croatian Whisperer will be back next week with the fair, huge, kind, and beautiful country of Canada. In the meantime, be kind to each other wherever you are in the world.
And always remember, if you think it's a stupid question, it probably isn't, eh?
Very good.
See what I did there?
It's very good. Hey. Much love. We'll see you next week. This episode of Misinfonation was written and produced by me, Neil Innes, and Andres Bartos. Huge thanks again to Lucija for her time, all of the laughs, and her filthy, filthy Croatian mouth. You can check out Lou and Andres' award-winning work together, including La Chana and Pepe Fandango, at noon-films.com. Remember, the Cerca app is available at the App Store, and you can head to cercatravel.com for more information and our travel blog. A good shout if you're thinking of traveling to Croatia or even just dreaming of Balkan foam parties. Our theme music for Misinfonation is by River Deep Mountain Dew. The show is mixed and mastered by Julian Kwasniewski. Stacey Book, Dominic Ferrari, and Avi Glijansky are slow-cooked tender pieces of Adriatic Octopus. They also executive produce the show, which is hosted by me, Neil Innes, and the cute little Austro-Hungarian center of all of our hearts, Andres Bartos. We'll see you in the next place. Jibili! Fucking hell.
Nice! All right. Good rate.